Welcome back to Sistas Law. We took a little break from you all last week. Judge Tee and I were off just trying to figure out how to better present to you and better bring our message to you. But we're glad to be back here so we can talk about what's been going on, I guess, in our absence. But on some levels, we're going to kind of ignore a little bit of Donald Trump, although we do have to talk about the 100 days. Place in that 100 days. But let's talk about what he did do in those 100 days. There's lots of things to tell. He did three things. He got a Supreme Court justice. He bombed Syria, and he bombed Afghanistan. He did 30 executive orders, and I think that's about it. Judge T.
Well, I tell you, I so agree with you, Attorney Roz. I'm overexhausted, and I know that many of you are just exhausted. We can go on to any news channel, and everybody's giving you what he did not do in the last 100 days.
We did talk about what he did do.
I really want to narrow down. My biggest gripe is actually this war against women. I am very, very overwhelmed with the turning of the time backwards with the war against women. So one of the things that I want to try to just narrow down is why this the protection of Planned Parenthood is so important. It's about
Planned Parenthood has about another week right now because of the funding bill. They
exactly.
extended it for a week, not just Planned Parenthood, but the government in general, because we were about to shut down.
Well, we've already shut down for 7 days.
7 days.
7 days.
And right now, Planned Parenthood has full funding.
Yeah, but let me just say something just as simple as what it's called, Planned Parenthood. So what the whole objective of the program is to help women Planned Parenthood. And sometimes parenthood can happen when it's not planned.
That's true.
And that's really the crust of it. Planned Parenthood's main objective is for women's health, now this is the other thing you have to understand, what they're trying to take away. And mind you, the Constitution under the 14th Amendment, I can go into Roe versus Wade, and I will do that on another day. But that case is what really kind of got the ball rolling. It wasn't Planned Parenthood. Roe versus Wade was giving a woman a right to an abortion. And ironically, the woman that was Roe actually ended up having to have that baby because the lawsuit went on so long. But what I want you to know is that in Planned Parenthood, there are not many women like myself who went to college, who can have health insurance. There's so many, the people that are the Trump supporters. Those are the ones who don't have the incomes or jobs that have in health
general,
insurance.
Planned Parenthood is the front line or the first line of health care for many poor women within the United States. And it appears that just as they've gone on for, meaning the 45th in his administration, there's an assault not just on women, but on poor people. So anything that helps and allows to lift people up, it appears that this administration seeks to dismantle it.
Well, I guess it's more simpler than that for me. I'm like, stay from between my legs. I'm just, stay from between. That is my privacy, and that's why the 14th Amendment gives you the right of privacy. That is why a lot of people call that my private parts. Stay out of my private parts. They're mine.
They are yours. And it seems like this misogynistic administration seeks to control every aspect of a woman, not just her ability to choose in terms of her planning her parenthood, but also her ability to make an income.
Because wage inequality, I don't care if the thing about Planned Parenthood is they have already made it almost impossible for them to get funding. So it's not like, I'm going to tell you, when I was in college, $20. $20 is all you paid when you went to Planned Parenthood. And they gave you a monthly supply, birth control pills, $30 of sore pap smear. No, that's not the monies that we're talking about now.
And let's talk about some of the other services, not just general health with respect to
Yes.
women in general.
Preventive care.
Preventive care. Things that, unless you have health insurance, you don't have access to. That's what's disturbing. You know, the 45th has said that when he was in business, he didn't have to rule with his heart. But government is about ruling with his heart. And that's one of the conflicts that we're having here. Because the man has no heart.
What he
no
does
heart.
have, he has an affinity to be surrounded by friends who are sexual deviants. And let's not get it twisted. I'm going right back. A lot of babies are born from rape and sexual abuse. And so you're telling me that you're going to go down, not only are you going to assault my private parts, you're telling me I have no control if someone else assaults my private parts. So we're getting, like, as women, we're just getting the double whammy. We have sex trafficking. We have abuse against women. We have rape and just stay from between my legs, please. Just give me that one part, Donald Trump. You can grab other women's private parts. You have to stay from between my legs. And I'm really, I'm up to here with that particular part of this man's administration.
The assault on Planned Parenthood, the assault on womanhood, if you will, kind of stems from this anti-abortion stance. And I guess what we need to tell you, or what I'm sure that you know, ladies and gentlemen, is that Planned Parenthood provides more than just abortion. Indeed, Planned Parenthood, that's a last resort with Planned Parenthood. That's not their primary and chief focus. It's helping women.
But Planned Parenthood goes back, and again, it's just more simple, isn't it? The people that are who want to go against Planned Parenthood, what they're doing is what the First Amendment tells you: the right of religion. I have a right not to have religion. I have a right to have religion. And if your religion says that you shouldn't get an abortion, your morality says that you shouldn't get an abortion, that's between you and God. What happens between me and the God I serve is none of your business. So you're not only putting your religion on me and how you practice your religion, the same thing we ramble on, or the 45th, because I don't, the 45th rambles on about the Muslim religion, and a lot of people who have problems with Islam is about how they shroud their women. I mean, and it seems like everybody makes an excuse on just bombarding the rights of women. Here in America, we just do it a different way, but we're still doing no different than what they claim is being done in the Islamic countries.
Control.
It's all, and control over women. And that's why here at Sistas Law, we're unbridled. We're not going to be controlled, and we're going to continue to speak out against issues that affect, yes, we're going to do it affect our politics and affect our communities, but I'm really going to be narrowing a lot, at least once on every show, about what is either going backwards or forward with regards to women.
Well, it's interesting that you say backwards or forwards, because the mantelpiece of the 45th campaign, and as he moves forward, is let's make America great again. And I when I thought about America prior to the Trump administration, I always considered it a work in progress. And it seems now that we have a work in regression. He's trying to dismantle not only the rights of women, or at least, in my opinion, just plain out assault them. He's dismantling everything that appears to nurture, which includes the climate, because, they were marching yesterday within Washington based on his assault on all the regulations, his attempt to dismantle Mother Earth, if you will.
Well, I don't think in any administration in my lifetime that I've ever seen this many marches against a president in the first 100 days. Now,
the resistance is amazing.
By number, and I didn't realize this, the Women's March the day after the inauguration,
yes.
That, of course, we already know with the 45th ID, that march was the largest march ever in Washington. That women's march, we had the 100 black men. I mean, the men's march, the women's march in the past.
Yes.
But that march, the day after the inauguration of the 45th, was the largest march in number based on the traffic in Washington D.C. And this just goes back to how we just were not ready. We just took it for granted.
What?
Because I guess so many women, we just took it for granted that we were going to get our first woman president.
Well, many of us were.
And we took, and so in the shock, women took the streets. They took on the streets. I mean, that's a lot of women to get down in one day.
But I guess moving forward, besides marching, how is it that we move an agenda forward that protects women, that protects our environment? What is it that we do? Do we run for office? Do we pound on our legislators' doors? We're marching, but he's not listening. He doesn't even give. He doesn't even mention the fact that there's discord, if you will, within our country. He moves on with it in his own fake world and puts his own spin on things.
That's so fearful for me, because he drops bombs to actually change the conversation. I mean, when we got down on the fact that they all lied about Flynn, boom, we drop a bomb.
Well, that was Syria, and then boom, Afghanistan.
Every time they get their boxers in a knot, boom. Is that what we're going to be doing? We're just going to be dropping bombs. We're going to be strategically not knowing where ships are going, and even if they're going in the wrong direction. We've said
a number of times that the man is very aware of the news cycle, very aware of how to market himself, very aware of how to change the conversation, just like he changed the conversation yesterday. There was the correspondence dinner. I guess he didn't show up because they held the correspondence.
He can't handle a joke.
Well, maybe also because the dinner was held at the Hilton in Washington as opposed to the Trump Hotel. I'm sure he would have shown up if they had.
Let me tell you, that dinner is always held at the White House. And
but
since
you understand where I'm coming from.
He wasn't going to be there. But you know what? That just goes to show you how he has no respect for the First Amendment
traditions,
the freedom of speech. We cannot continually keep saying that the news is fake news. Now, we do know that Russia had thousands and thousands of fake news put within the internet.
Yes,
it was going up on people's Facebook pages and going into YouTube. It was now that was fake news by Russia. Yeah. Now, what we cannot do, he uses this man, for somebody who says has fake news, watches the news every day. How do we know he watches the news? Because I mean, MSNBC can say something, and I swear to goodness, 5 minutes later, he's tweeted.
Well, yesterday with the correspondence dinner, they were celebrating the First Amendment and your right to free speech and the right for Judge Tee and I to say and speak as we do. And he was in Harrisburg
having another rally,
feeding meat to his base.
And
ignoring everything that...
Tell that fool that you already... I mean, remember, even though your numbers are a little vague in your head, you did win. Okay? Yes. You didn't win by the majority. You got the Electoral College. Dude, you won. All right? Now, start acting like you're going to be president.
Well, and
because that's why I can't give him... That's why I can't give him his respect.
The 45th gave a speech, campaign-style speech, and a former Reagan advisor described it. I listened to the speech. It was tough, but I listened. But a former Reagan advisor described it as the most divisive speech he's heard by a sitting president. What is the 45th doing, despite his policies, where he seeks to dismantle? What is he doing to bring this country together? What is he doing to reach outside of the few people that voted for him and bring us together?
He's not.
Nothing.
See, this is the misnomer. Okay, he did win the Electoral College. We're not fighting that fight. Okay, we're done with that. We're moving forward. The fact is, however, you cannot deny 3 million people who did not vote for you. And that is...
He doesn't speak to them. He doesn't speak to those folks at all.
He's not trying to.
And that's the problem with his
presidency.
But,
it's going to backfire because many of those people actually voted for Obama the first and the second time.
Many of the people that he's now speaking to.
That's now how... And maybe it's just me, and call me racist, but I really don't understand Black and Hispanic people who this man has insulted for your color, for your ethnicity at his rallies. And I've never...
It's not Black and Hispanics, it's immigrants. It's illegal immigrants that he's going after. His snake poem, did you hear the snake poem that he's utilized a number of times? He used it yesterday in his rally to talk about people who are encroaching our borders.
Oh, gosh.
People who are the refugees who really are seeking freedom and safety, who would come here.
All right, 45. Your grandfather came here from Germany. So if you want to go back, make America great again, how far back do you want to go? You want to go to slavery? You want to go before women had freedoms?
He's talking about jobs.
No. How far back
jobs. He
is
wants to bring
it?
back coal jobs.
I want him to identify.
Coal miners. He wants to bring those
Well, you can go back to cotton picking. I want to know how far back was America great that he's trying to go to. Because to me, the only thing that is different than him just come out just saying, get the hell out of here unless you're a white male, is basically get the hell out of here unless you're a white male. Because he's not giving he can take sexual offenders, your Roger Ailes and your they
were his friends.
Your Fox men.
They were his friends.
Come on. All of these men are sexual abusers, including Trump himself. Now, Pence, who can't go anywhere unless he takes his wife. Now, I question that down there. There's a reason behind everything. A man who cannot go to any public place where there are women present unless his wife is there. We need to dig down into what's going on with Pence. But see, these are these small things. Trump don't go nowhere with his wife, and Pence can't go anywhere without his wife. You know, it's something a little crazy about that. But you know what? Women need to be heard. And the women that are in his administration, you got Voss, who doesn't know anything about education. Well,
his daughter is speaking on behalf of the
administration. His daughter is not speaking on behalf.
His daughter has indicated
he has a wife
in Germany.
He has a wife.
Donald Trump supports women and families. And the Germans.
He supports his family. That's why we can't see these tax returns. Because the one page, ladies and gentlemen, one page, his tax reform was one page.
But again, what's the significance?
It said nothing.
What's the significance of seeing his tax return? Will we then find out
how
he's benefiting from all of his businesses? Will benefit from every law that he's going to push, or at least try to? Because we know he's not he hasn't been able to push any legislation through at this point.
The thing is what can be changed, because he has Wilbur Ross, head of commerce. If he is being audited, he can commingle this government, whereas whatever is tangled up on him can get untangled. And we won't ever know, because by the time he gets out of office, he could already put in place what he needs to put in place to untangle himself with every tax issues that he has. This man is actually making law that will protect him and his future heirs. Because that's who's going to benefit, is the heirs of millionaires. Not the
American people aren't going to benefit as a result
No.
of the laws that he's putting in place. He's not going to... American people aren't going to benefit from this tax cut the revamping of the IRS rules.
Many of the people who voted for Trump actually
they don't
said,
get it.
no, but some of them actually said, oh, we didn't really think he was going to do anything with health care. Really? I mean, some of them, of course, that's all they wanted. But then some of them, you know, they were worrying about jobs. They weren't so much worrying about
I guess
healthcare.
my question is, how long is it going to take America to wake up? Not just even his base. How long is it going to take America to wake up to what is actually going on? Is this first 100 days just an experiment? Because I think we got about 1,300 more in this particular presidency. What is he going to accomplish, and how is he going to continue to dismantle America?
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, my brain is exhausted. But you know what? I'm going to fight the good fight. We're not going down, ladies and gentlemen, because you have daughters and mothers and sisters and women who you love. This administration, in their making America great again, is regressing when it comes to women in America.
Of course.
And we're going to be focusing on the lies. We can always give you the wrap up at the end of the week, but we all know that you guys are listening to the same news that we're listening to.
Reading the same news.
What you don't know sometimes is how the law wraps up in it. And I'm like I said, I want to go back, and not on this show, because it's just that can be a show by itself, explaining what Roe versus Wade was, why that case came about, and why this particular president and the changes that he's making with regards to health care and Planned Parenthood is going to not make America great again. We'll be going back to those back alleys where women were using coat hangers with somebody who didn't know anything about
recognize that Planned Parenthood future is tied up in the budget.
Yes.
Insurance. And recognize
yes.
that Planned Parenthood's future is tied up in the manner in which the Affordable Care Act is either repealed or not. Recognize also that the 45th, although he has a majority of his Congress controls the Senate and the Congress, he doesn't seem to know how to work with them.
Well, this is a man that finally admitted that this work is hard.
Oh, yes.
This is not as easy as my previous life. I didn't realize how much time. Really? Really?
And why
45?
would you put that out there in the air? Why
You actually,
to
for
say
you
what
to
exactly?
say anybody can do this is going to be cake. Nobody can do it better than you. And now you're just now figuring out that there's a Congress.
And that's why he's done all those executive orders, because you can do those without having to work with the Congress.
Yeah, we talked about that in the beginning of our shows, that, you know, executive orders are those few orders that can be written just by the pen. And that's why he shows you every time he signs his name like a little boy. See what I did, Mommy? See?
And the legislation that he has passed, he signed bills that were already in the hopper. This first 100 days, let me just add something else. The first 100 days is essentially the 45th taking credit for things that happened before he got in office. That's what he's done.
But if I can digress, he wants to blame President Obama for Flynn. Are you serious? Are you serious? Yeah. You want to do extreme vetting on immigrants? How about doing some extreme vetting on your administration? And maybe, just maybe, we can find out how many are connected with Russian oligarchs, how many are actually working for other countries. You're going to give one of the highest offices in your administration, which is a national security administrator, to a man who is not only working for one country, but working for two, and getting money while he was doing it.
Kind of positive spin on this.
I can't. I really can't. He gets an F. It's a goose egg. Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to grade him. Do I want to say incomplete?
No. You don't get a chance to be incomplete when you're the President of the United States. Okay? At least you got to be working on completing something. I don't even know if he has anything as much as he promises on day one. Go back, ladies and gentlemen. He said that thing 1,000 times.
He put back on the wall to keep the government being shut down.
Okay.
Within his first 100 days.
Well, I mean, seriously? Dude, one-page taxes?
Our audience, one of our audience has given him a multiple, a double, a triple, a quadruple F.
This man, I mean, if you don't know sign language, ladies and gentlemen, A, B, C, D, E, F. Remember this. Whenever I do this in sign language, I have a master's in sign language, just in case you know.
Yes.
This is F. F, not 3. F. The man gets an F. And he's failed. I mean, the Gorsuch thing was already in the hopper for him. All the Republicans needed was a Republican.
And they had to filibuster. They had to change the rules in order to move that forward.
Really? So don't act like you did anything great. You know,
you got a Supreme Court justice, and you bombed Syria, and you bombed Afghanistan. You killed a bunch of folks, and
Americans have died. Also, we killed Hillary on the bombing in the Middle East, but we haven't talked about how many Americans that have died on his watch already in 100 days.
All right, so we don't. There's an assault on women. He has
American deaths.
He has no foreign policy that anybody can figure out, and the list can go on. Well, I think we need to maybe wrap this up because we could just go on and on and on. But please join us as we move forward on our not only Facebook Live, but on our website at sistaslaw.com and on our Instagram, Twitter. And do we have any other modes?
I think we're muddling it over, but we're definitely going to do the announcement. We're thinking about just doing a shorter, but twice a week. And that's because, you know what, Sunday afternoons, people got a lot to do. And we know in the summertime, folks who want to be out in the sun at 3 o'clock, you want to feed your families. And so we will be letting you know on our page what the time changes will be, when there will be, and what new days. We're still going to be doing Sundays, but we may be also doing a Wednesday evening. Only for about 15 minutes or so. Just give us a quick, because so many things happen that by the end of the week, you're kind of overexhausted in figuring out what to actually talk about.
A more complete analysis of what actually is going on.
Yes, trying to get everything in a half an hour, it is incomplete. So we thank you again from Sistas Law. I am Judge T.
Rosalyn Charles.
And thank you again. We'll see you next week with Sistas and Law. Thank you.